Okay, this is one of the updates of my hot tent teepee. It's been lit up. I've got a silicone fire blanket make for the stove jack, and what I noticed is all the heat obviously rises to the apex of the tent and I lose that heat, and I've been thinking of ways that I can reflect that heat back towards me. It'll make a huge difference. So where are we up to? I've got this kind of material here. I don't know how it's going to cope with being rolled up and everything. Unless I try these things, I'm never going to find out. Obviously on the forums and all that, you just can't get this kind of information because no one will experiment with a kit. But this teepee tent has always been a project since day one. I've had it to make a stove jack or even a pipe sleeve, which I'm either going to purchase or, if I can find something suitable, make one. And what I want, and I've made a keg stove, which in a tent, a 4-man, 3-man, 4-man tent, works amazing. So let's simply spray this on. So here's the apex coming down. I have a window in mine on the bottom here. Now I'm only doing it from above the window to the top of the apex, and that should be fine, and I'm going to go all the way around with it. I'm just going to show you this panel, because here's where I'm going to start. I'm going to spray this, stick it straight on and just trim it to size and see how simple this is. One thing I have done is dry coat this. In other words, I've used the spray and sprayed it on, and that will give it a key. I'm going to get quite generous with this. A reflective side and a duller matte side. The matte side is where I'll be sticking it. So I'll spread it into the corners. So the trick is to coat the fabric and the back of the tin foil and work really quickly. The minute I've sprayed up, stick it on and it bonds quickly and strong. The tin foil, then the fabric. Now work quickly. Now this is all going to be cut to shape a bit later. Once that is on, I've had a pick of it with my fingernail. It's not coming off. That has bonded really well. I've got a little fill in to do here. Trim it all up. So there's the first panel in. It's not too bad. I've trimmed it up a little around the edges. Not that it needs it because I'm going all the way round. I could tidy this bit up here, but this has to be functional. I'm not bothered about it whether it's particularly neat or not, but I'm going to go all the way around here now until all this top is coated, and then I'm going to fire up the old wood stove again, and hopefully it's going to make a big difference. Right, let's carry on. Okay, I've got 2 little patches to put in. The rest of it's reasonably neat. I don't like this panel. I'm not going to rip it off and do it again because I don't expect this to be a full-time permanent fix, but I would expect this kind of setup to be okay for the next maybe couple or so hot camps. It's actually not coming off at all. This is pretty flexible as well because it's adhered to the actual tent itself. It's folding and bending with it rather than peeling off in sections like I thought it would, but it's not. Right, a couple more patches, and for what it's worth, we'll have a quick 360. Now the great thing about this silver reflective, other than it radiating the heat back down to me where it's really required, is in an Armageddon situation, and you bring this tent out with you with this modification, the Martians won't be able to read your mind. So there's 360 from the apex just down to the windows. Now it's going to go dark soon, so I'll show you these right now. I found this a while ago and I've never known what it is. Now it's not an egg cup because that's how it looks. You wouldn't sit an egg on that. I might be able to get an egg inside it, like a soft boiled egg, and that would protect it. But if I take the handle off the stove door and put that in, maybe it won't radiate that much heat. So that is one of the things I'm going to do now. And also one of these, got a spare fire blanket, they're not dear to buy. I'm going to use that in conjunction with the foil. Foil makes a pretty good job foiling the tile, but that'll pack flat anyway. So I'm just going to remove this little door handle and hopefully I can cover it somehow and get it in there with this. What is that? And the last thing I want to show you before it gets dark are these fire briquettes. Fire briquettes. It's compressed sawdust. It's not light, but if I'm car camping I'll throw a few of these in. Got these pretty cheap, they're on offer. Never tried one before and I know it fits into the stove. So another thing I'm curious about is just how long one of these will burn for and how easy is it to get going. So I've spread out the fire blanket 1 metre by 1 metre, and I'm still going to use the tin foil. It will reflect heat off the stove. It will reflect heat back off the wood burner. And I'm still going to use my ceramic tile. A little weird modification here. Whether I could touch that with bare hands, I should be able to. Certainly peculiar looking now. Oh, yeah. Split some wood and get one of these on the go. Inside temperature 19.9, outside temperature currently 16.7 degrees Celsius. Between inside and outside, and I want to experiment with these little briquettes. I don't know how they're going to burn, and they're even worse to look through. There you are, pop that in, put some of these in. Now these little barbecue fire lighters I can get from the garage. They're around £2 or £3, and you get about 50 of them. Now I can break these little firelighters in half, so I can get 100 lights for about £3, and I have even tried cooking on them. It works, but you need a couple of them, and it's a bit smoky and sooty. Now this for me is going to be an interesting little experiment with the heat shield there. I really want that to work a lot. I'm going to put a couple of larger bits of kindling in before we try that briquette. See how the flames are being pulled up the chimney. That's why on the next modification my damper will have arrived, where I can shut down the airflow, but I'm going to make one as well because it's really easy. It has to sit in slightly diagonal. Now then, what I'm going to do there is just leave the door cranks open on it for now, because I want to keep my eye on that. The supermarket briquette. It's taken a long time to catch. In fact, the embers are nearly gone out on the wood I put in, and there's nothing. Well, it's like we said before, the embers from the wood that was really burning well have gone out nearly, and the briquette is still intact. There's only a 1 degree differential because that briquette slowed it right down. Perhaps I put it in too early, I don't know, but I'm going to take it out and just get a whole new pile of pallet wood, which is what I've been using in that. So anytime you see an old pallet on an industrial site, just grab it, axe, chop it up. It's good firewood. Got some proper wood in it. Maybe these briquettes are only designed when the fire is actually established. Maybe them reflectors are working a hell of a lot better than I thought. A hell of a lot better. I'm going to find out when I close the door. I have some leather gloves as well this time. I'm sick of burning myself. I've cranked the door open, see if it throws the heat out. So I've got one of the fire briquettes and an axe and tried to split that way. It won't, it's like concrete, but splitting this way I did manage to get these smaller pieces like this. I'm going to throw just a little piece in and see what difference that makes. So there's that section of briquette on. Okay, 19.6 degrees on the inside, 11.9 on the outside, but now I need to check the outside of the tent around the stovepipe climbing. This is round the stovepipe on the outside. I can leave my hand on it around this area. It's hot where you can see the singeing. I can still put my hand on. The actual tent is warm but not overly hot. Well, there's the briquette at the front there, that little piece that I split with an axe. It's certainly caught there. Maybe that's a solution, just to break them up. And just as an experiment, I'm going to pop one right at the front there. See what happens to that. These type of things I'm not sold on yet. It's not a good idea to leave it unattended, i.e. being asleep, and I would definitely have a carbon monoxide detector in here. Now carbon monoxide sits low to the ground as where smoke will rise, so if you have a carbon monoxide detector, sit it on the floor. So the silver reflector we put on, it is throwing that heat back down. So in there is the result of a whole fire brick cut into 3 or 4 pieces, and now it is really burning well. Now that them embers are well established, I've put a whole briquette in. It seems to have taken. Now this setup wouldn't be for any kind of stealth camp, because I've got something very, very hot. There's no way I could put that out quickly and get it into a pack, yet alone pull down a pyramid tent of this size. Not quickly anyway. So this is my car camping system. Right, I'm going to wrap it up here with a couple of conclusions. The briquette has been going for well over an hour. It's time to open the door, let the heat out and let it burn off, because I'm not out here all night. Silver reflector, it's cool to the touch, but seems to be reflecting a hell of a lot of that heat back. I'm on the camp cot. I haven't got any type of air mat or inflatable or roll mat. It is warm while that's on. I've had to open up the mesh vent and window. At sleeping level, I have 27.5 degrees. That's at cot bed level. And on the outside, 12.2. The little tilly lamp is reflecting a lot of this light, as well as the stove giving the heat back. So in itself, I'm glad I did this, but only time will tell how beneficial this is going to be. So until next time, take care of yourself, and I'll see you out there.